Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today I'm going to be doing a Gaia the Fierce Knight test hand video. So I'm really excited for this one because this deck is a deck that you guys have been requesting me to do test hands of ever since the cards got released, and I just dropped a deck profile of it. If you want to check that out, it is down in the description below. So I'm really excited to bring you guys this deck. I love doing nostalgia decks like this, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, Dark Magician, Blackluster Soldier, Harpies. I love nostalgic decks, and I'm really excited to show you guys this one because this deck actually got a serious power boost, and I changed probably 90% of the deck out from what it used to be when I was summoning Gaia the Dragon Champion out of it. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome awards, you guys, like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, or even getting requested deck profile just like this one, along with test hands to go along with it every single month that you are a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So this is a really cool deck that actually lets you summon out your Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, which is an insanely good card to be able to summon to your side of the field. It pops multiple cards on the field and even gets to be an OTK machine. This deck is crazy good at OTKing your opponent, and I am super excited to show you guys this deck. So we're going to go ahead and pile shuffle out the deck because I always recommend that you pile shuffle the deck. And I also would recommend in this particular instance, usually I keep my extra deck organized. This time it actually pays to be messy because you do play Pot of Extravagance in this deck. So you want to make sure that you're not banishing a copy of all three of your copies of the Magical Knight of Dragons. That's really important when you're playing Extravagance in this deck. But you do have the Sky Galloping Gaia, which will be alright if you do banish your copy of the Magical Knight of Dragons. That'll be fine. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull off with this. I will go ahead and, just in case, which I'm sure we will pull Extravagance at some point, I'm going to go ahead and pile shuffle the extra deck and show you guys a cool trick. What I always do is I always pile shuffle the extra deck in 5s because it's 15, so you have 3 stacks of 15, or 3 stacks of 3, or 5 stacks of 3, excuse me. You get all 3 stacks, or all 5 stacks of 3 each, and then give it a good shuffle, and you should be good. So let's go ahead and see what we can actually draw in this particular test hand. So we're going to go first this time. We're going to go first for the first test hand. So you're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Spiral Spear Strike, Ultra Polymerization, Galloping Gaia, Terraforming, and a Catapult Turtle. So this is not terrible. This is not great at the same time, but it's not terrible. Because in this particular instance, I probably would activate the copy. Well, actually, it's not bad. You can go ahead and activate the copy of your Terraforming because you can get out from your deck a copy of the Gateway to Chaos, which is going to help us out a little bit to be able to get our particular cards that we need. Let's go ahead and activate that. Activate the copy of Gateway to Chaos. Gateway to Chaos will then let us search from our deck our copy of a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, which is going to be our copy of the Gaia the Magical Knight, which is going to help out quite a lot in our hand to be able to get what we need. Let's go ahead and then reveal in our hand the copy of the Galloping Gaia, and then trade these 2 field spells out because you can activate a field spell on top of a field spell. That's totally fine. And then you can reveal the copy of Gaia in our hand to grab out of the deck the copy of the Cursed Dragon, which is going to help out the deck quite a lot to grab those particular pieces. See, now you have both your Gaia and you have your copy of the Cursed Dragon. So now, since we don't control a monster, you can normal summon out the Gaia the Magical Knight onto our side of the field, and then use that to special summon out our copy of the Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, because its effect reads that if this card is normal or special summon, then you can special summon 1 level 5 dragon monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position. So we're going to put the Curse of Dragon on the field and then use its effect to search our Spiral Fusion because it lets us search a monster that specifically lists Gaia the Dragon Champion, which is pretty good. This card actually says in text line number 3, Gaia the Dragon Champion, so it is searchable. So now we have a really cool combo going on here. Since we do control the Gaia the Magical Knight and the copy of the Cursed Dragon, Cursed of Dragon, you can use the copy of Ultra Polymerization and fusion summon both of these monsters away and summon out a copy of your... I would always summon out with this one. I'd always summon out the copy of Sky Galloping Gaia. Now, Sky Galloping Gaia, since I do have the Spiral Spear Strike in my hand, I can search another one from the deck, and they do stack, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and add the second one. I play 2 in my build. I like 2 a lot better than 1. I think that 2 is the way to go with this particular deck. I think it's a lot better because you're going to have more cards to search, and it thins the deck a little bit. Now you're going to pay that 2,000 life points and special summon both these monsters back onto your side of the field to make your copy of your Spiral Fusion live. Now you can go ahead and activate the copy of Spiral Fusion, fusion summon both of these monsters away, summon out your copy of your Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, onto your side of the field, and then you can activate a Spiral Spear Strike for each one of them, which is going to help you out quite a lot. Now when you go into battle phase, you're not going to be able to go into battle phase this turn because it's the first turn, but since you've established both of these monsters on your side of the field, you have a really, really good hand that you can just go in against your opponent on the next turn, and you can pop stuff and interrupt your opponent with the copy of the Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, by letting it lose 2,600 attack, which is sitting at 52 right now, which is pretty good. So if we draw into our next turn, just to show you guys, we're going to draw into a copy of Monster Reborn. Wow, this is looking very OG Yu-Gi-Oh right here. You can normal summon out the copy of Artillery Catapult Turtle, tribute it off, special summon from the deck a copy of the Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, because it's going to get you another play on your side of the field. I'd probably summon it in attack mode, and then use its effect that if this card is normal or special summon, then you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists a Gaia, the Magical Knight, or a Gaia, the Dragon Champion. So you're going to add Spiral Fusion again, activate your copy of Polymerization, or activate your copy of the Monster Reborn, bring back your copy of the Gaia monster, and then use the copy of your Spiral Fusion to summon into another copy of your Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, and you have this insane board just with those 2 monsters, and then you can attack your opponent, draw 4, and then discard 2 off each attack, which is pretty good because the effect is not once per turn on your copy of your Spiral Spear Strike. So you get this insane crazy board, which is really good. I mean, it's really good. And also it has the ability that your opponent cannot activate cards or effects during the battle phase, or you control Gaia the Dragon Champion. And I count 3 Gaia the Dragon Champions because they're all considered Gaia the Dragon Champion while on the field. So that's probably the most insane board that you can actually make as right now with the deck, which is pretty insane. But let's see if we can do something even crazier. That was 3 of the Gaia the Dragon Champions. And again, make sure you put them in different places in the extra deck just in case you get your copy of Pot of Extravagance. So let's go ahead and see what we can actually do for this next one and see if we can pull off something just as crazy. So for this next test hand, we're going to go ahead and cut the deck and cut it one more time because that was a little cut, and see what we can actually pull off. So we're going to go into a Gateway of Chaos, set rotation, which is not bad, Ash Blossom, Artillery Catapult Turtle, and a copy of Call by the Grave. So this isn't terrible because you can get the field spells. The field spells is really what the deck revolves around. So we're going to go ahead and activate the copy of Set Rotation because it lets you set 2 field spells with different names to either player's field. And then also while either of those remain set on the field, neither player can activate or set other field spells. So that's pretty good to be able to just put your 2 copies of your field spell on your side of the field. So you have the copy of Galloping Gaia that you could get on your side of the field because it would help out a lot to get that card on your side of the field, but at the same time, you don't have a Gaia in your hand to search. So we're not going to go ahead and go for that one. We're going to go ahead and go for a Gateway to Chaos. Or if you want to, you could set the set rotation and then activate your copy of the Gateway to Chaos to grab what you need out of the deck, which is going to be your copy of your Gaia. Because this hand's a little bit awkward because you can't flip this and set the 2 copies and get rid of this, unfortunately, I don't believe. I think you can activate this and then search your copy of Gaia first, though. Let's go ahead and do that. And then you can set the set rotation on your side of the field. Now, you don't have the copy of your Curse of Dragon, the Cursed Dragon, but you do have your Gaia now. So you can go ahead and normal summon out the Artillery, send it to the graveyard, special summon out your Curse of Dragon, which is the searcher of the deck, and then grab your copy of your Spiral Fusion. Now you can use the Spiral Fusion at this point and fusion these 2 away. and summon out your copy of the Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons. And you have the copy of Ash, and you have the copy of Call Back the Grave to stop your opponent, which is pretty good to be able to just instantly stop your opponent. It really wouldn't change even if you could activate the copy of Set Rotation, but you do have these 2 negates as well, which is pretty good. And this has 2 pops on it, which you can pop a card on your opponent's side of the field this turn. But being first turn, you're not going to have anything to pop. But you can also pop something on your opponent's turn, and it can attack twice during each battle phase, which is pretty good. So that's a basic field of what you're going to be able to do with this deck, which is pretty good. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for the next one. I'm really excited to show you guys this deck. It's super cool. Let's go ahead and see what we can do in the 3rd test hand. We might get about 5 test hands in this particular video, but let's see what we can get. So for this next one, we're going to go ahead and shuffle the deck up really good. Put this back in the extra deck. I'm going to put it on the top because we're probably going to grab it pretty quickly. And we're going to go ahead and draw and get a Gateway to Chaos. We're going to get an Ash again. Nibiru this time, Ash, and a copy of Extravagance. Okay, so if we're going first, or we're going second, let's say we're going second because we have the Nibiru. You can give your opponent the Nibiru, and it helps you OTK your opponent because depending on when you hit them, if you give them the Nibiru when they have a very few defense points, even if they have a bunch of Link monsters, you can essentially get a free win because you're going to have your Gaia that can do multiple piercing damage, which is really cool. And then you have the Ash Blossom to stop your opponent as well. And then if we go into our turn and we draw, you're going to draw into the Gaia the Magical Knight, which is really good. Then you can activate the copy of Pot of Extravagance because it's the first thing you need to do when you go ahead and go into your turn. Make sure, again, shuffle the extra deck and make sure that it's good and mixed up before you resolve that copy of your Extravagance. So let's go ahead and see what we can hit. We're going to get 3 here, or we got 4 here, excuse me, and we got 3 here. So 3 and 3, make sure that you have the right number, and then let's take a look at what we hit. This is not terrible, because we still have 1 Sky Galloping Gaia. You're only going to summon him once per duel anyways. That's fine. You're going to summon this card multiple times per duel, and hitting these are just kind of tech cards, and hitting the Big Eye is fine too, because you usually don't go into Big Eye. It's kind of an emergency card. And then you're going to get to draw 2, which is going to be pretty good. So we're going to draw into the Curse of Dragon and a Set Rotation, which is pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and activate the copy of Set Rotation now and set on my side of the field the copy of the Sky Galloping Gaia, or the, I keep wanting to call it Sky Galloping Gaia, but Galloping Gaia on my field, and I'm going to give my opponent the copy of the Gateway to Chaos because it doesn't really do anything for them. Like, it doesn't really go for them. So I'm just going to act like that's giving it to them. And we're going to go ahead and reveal the copy of Galloping Gaia, which is totally fine to be able to just immediately activate it. We then have the copy of the Gaia the Magical Knight, and we're going to go ahead and normal summon it out to our side of the field, which is going to help us get a search, and then we're going to have the copy of the Curse of Dragon as well on our side of the field. You can reveal this, you can reveal the copy of Gaia, and grab the other Curse of Dragon if you want to, so you can get the Spiral Fusion, or you can just fusion summon out with your Curse of Dragon if you feel like your opponent has an Ash or something like that. So, let's go ahead and normal summon out the copy of the Gaia the Magical Knight, because usually the Nibiru token is going to have more than 2300 attack anyways. And then we can special summon out the copy of Cursed Dragon, use the copy of Cursed Dragon to be able to search our Spiral Fusion, and then use the copy of Spiral Fusion to go into our copy of the Magical Knight of Dragons. Bam. And then you can switch the Nibiru to attack position, attack into the token that they have, and since it's in defense position, or it doesn't really matter, you can attack your opponent and then attack again if you need to, and then Nibiru can go in and win the game if you want to. And this will have 7,800 after it battles the first time because it came out at 52, which is pretty good. If you read the copy of the Spiral Fusion, it doubles the attack of the monster, essentially, bringing it up to 52. And then when it battles, the Sky Gallop, or the copy of your Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, will also get you an additional 2,600 every time it battles, which is pretty good. So if it can attack twice, it goes up to 10,800. So you can also, instead of going for this, these two cards are very interchangeable. These two cards are very, very interchangeable. If you want to have the piercing damage with the copy of the Spiral Spear Strike, because this particularly searches the Spiral Spear Strike, you can change it out and summon out the copy of Sky Galloping Gaia instead of the copy of Gaia, the Magical Knight of Dragons, to be able to attack into the Miru token, and it'll do a lot of damage if you want to go that route instead. It just depends on which one you feel like you can go into easier, and which one you feel like you can. You kind of got to read situation to situation. Do you need the piercing damage, or do you need the big damage? It depends on what your opponent has on their side of the field. So every situation in this deck is a little bit different, and depends on which one you actually need to go into. So let's go ahead and shuffle the deck up. As you can see, this deck has come extremely consistent on getting out your copy of the Gaia the Dragon Champion, which is what it's supposed to do over and over and over again, which is really, really, really cool. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for this next particular hand and see what we can actually pull off. Let's go ahead and cut the deck really quick. That goes in the middle. Let's just stick that in the middle somewhere and cut it one more time. Let's go ahead and cut it right there. Okay, let's see what we can do. So for this next one, we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Monster Reborn, Terraforming, Gateway to Chaos, Galloping Gaia, and an Extravagance. Okay, you got to resolve the Extravagance first because it says the beginning of the main phase 1. So go ahead and shuffle that extra deck up. I'm so glad that they reprinted that card twice. It needs a common reprint. It really does. It needs like a structure deck reprint. So let's go ahead and shuffle it up and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And let's see what we actually hit. Hopefully we didn't hit all 3 copies of Gaia Fusion. So we had 1 Sky Galloping, 1 copy of Big Eye, 1 copy of the Magical Knight. See, this is totally fine. It doesn't matter. Like, you still have 2 of each Gaia Fusion. So you're fine. So go ahead and activate the copy of Ash, or not Ash, excuse me. You're going to go ahead and draw 2 off the Extravagance. We totally forgot about that. Ooh, wow. We really want the field spells this time, don't we? Okay, go ahead and drop the copy of Set Rotation, because if you have the Set Rotation, you can immediately put on your side of the field a copy of your particular field spell that you need, which we have, we still have field spells in the deck. Yeah, I thought I drew them all. I was like, goodness gracious, we have all the field spells. Go ahead and put Gateway to Chaos on your side of the field. I would probably put Gateway, because if you put Gateway, you're going to get the copy of the Gaia Knight on your side of the field, and give your opponent the copy of the, we were about to get 2 more Extravagance. Uh-oh, that would have been bad. Give your opponent the copy of Galloping Gaia on their side of the field, and then you can immediately activate your copy of Gateway, and then add from your deck to your hand your copy of the Magical Knight. Okay, so we've got that, and you can activate the copy of Terraforming as well, just to bait your opponent, if you want to bait your opponent, and grab out the field spell that you need, like a copy of the Galloping Gaia. I believe that's every single field spell. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we hit every single... Wow. We hit every single field spell in the entire deck. That's insane. Okay. So now, the ruling, I believe, with Set Rotation, in this particular scenario, we wouldn't be able to do anything else unless we do activate the copy of the Galloping Gaia. It says you set 2 field spells with different names from your deck on the field, 1 to your field and 1 to your opponent's field, and while either of those remains set on the field, neither player can activate or set field spell cards. So I can't activate on top of the Gateway to Chaos, unfortunately. So we kind of have to pass for the most part with this particular hand, which is a little unfortunate. And if we pass into our next turn, we're going to draw into an Extravagance, which is going to be fine. Hopefully we don't hit the other copies of our Gaia the Magical Knight. There's 6 right there. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we hit, I believe, both our copies of Gaia the Magical Knight. That's why you don't want to resolve Extravagance twice. Go ahead and draw into 2, and then you draw into the copy of Spiral Fusion and your copy of Gaia the Gaia the Fierce Knight. So Set Rotation can kind of backfire on you sometimes, and can kind of mess you up a little bit. So let's go ahead and see what we can do with the next test hand, and do one more just to see what we can do really quickly, because the test hands really go fast with Gaia. Which one's the extra deck? Now, it's all the extra deck. That's the joke. So let's go ahead and see what we can actually do. Go ahead and shuffle the deck really quick, see what we can actually pull off. So, as you can see, it's super consistent. It's just super consistent in getting the field spell. So, we're going to go ahead and draw, get a Spiral Spear Strike, Extravagance, Ultra Polymerization, Galloping Gaia, and a Spiral Fusion. Okay, so if we draw off the Extravagance on our side of the field, because you have to resolve that first, you're going to go ahead and mix up the extra deck again, and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. And let's see what we hit. So we hit a copy of the Magical Knight, Anaconda, another one, Cerberus, this, and a... Okay, so we're fine. We still have one copy in our extra deck. And then you get to draw 2. Just be a monster. That's all I need. Okay. So this is fine. You can actually go ahead into normal summon out the Artillery Catapult Turtle, and then tribute it off. Search your copy of the Cursed Dragonfire, which is going to be able to... Or not the Cursed Dragonfire, the copy of the Cursed Dragon, which is going to search you out another copy of a card that has Gaia the Fierce Knight in its name. Which doesn't really matter which one you grab at this point. You can't really do all that much with this particular hand. I believe this is like the only, like one of the 2 hands that we can't do all that much with, because you don't have a copy of a Gaia the Magical Knight in your hand, which is a little unfortunate. But the only thing that you could really grab at this point is, this doesn't actually mention, does it have to be Gaia, or can it be Gaia the Fierce Knight? It has to be Gaia the Dragon Champion. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So... you can't really do anything at this point. You could search your copy of the Spiral Reborn, which is going to be helpful. That's why I play the Spiral Reborn in the deck, is so I can actually just put it on the field and revive the particular piece that I need. So we're going to go ahead and set the copy of Spiral Reborn and pass. And then you have the copy of Ash Blossom to stop your opponent. If this does get destroyed by battle, then you get to draw next turn. You're going to draw into an Extravagance. And uh-oh, I hope we don't banish all of our fusions. Let's go ahead and do 3 more right here. And I think we're okay. I think we still have one of the fusions left. Yeah, we have one of the fusions left. We're okay. You can draw 2, and we hit the Gaia. That's fine. Okay, so we're going to go Terraforming. You can still OTK your opponent. Totally OTK your opponent with this particular hand. So you're going to go ahead, and you have the Call by the Grave, which is going to stop your opponent from, stopping you from searching. Activate the Gateway. Search the Gaia the Magical Knight. Reveal the Gaia the Magical Knight in your hand after you activate the copy of the Galloping Gaia. You're going to go in with this hand. Go ahead and reveal the copy of the Galloping Knight, or the Magical Knight in your hand. Search from your deck to your hand the copy of the Cursed Dragon, and then you can normal summon out to your side of the field each of these monsters, and then get a search off of this, which I would probably search the Spiral Spear, which is going to help you out a little bit more than any of the other cards in the deck. You're not going to need the second Spiral Fusion. Go ahead and activate the copy of Spiral... Well, I would go ahead and activate the copy of Ultra Polymerization if I could. And then give myself the copy of the Gaia the Magical Knight. And then you can also activate both of these on your side of the field after you give yourself back both of these monsters, which is going to be super helpful to be able to get both of your monsters back on your side of the field, because you have set on your field the copy of the Spiral Reborn, which you could feasibly link these away, summon out a Unicorn, and then ditch one of your copies of your Spiral Spear, and then be able to bounce something. Or you could keep these on your field like this, and you could revive this back to your side of the field after you go into the Unicorn. If you want to revive the copy of your Gaia the Magical Knight after you revive the Unicorn, and then go after your opponent and start OTKing them, and you have to discard a card to bounce something. So you have recovery plays right there. That was a little bit of what I would call a brick. And then you could also link these away during the main phase 2 and go into access code, because you had the access code left, and you could use the copy of Unicorn there to be able to boost this card up, and then be able to pop multiple cards, or the one card on your opponent's side of the field, which is going to be a little bit helpful. But you don't have anything left in the extra deck at that point, and you're still able to hit them with the access code. So it would be access code beatdown at that point. So it's still able to consistently make a link 4 even on a bad hand, so that's not bad. So that's it for the test hands, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to play around with, as you can see, and it's pretty darn consistent, as you can probably see as well. We made Gaia 4 out of the 5 test hands, which is pretty good. And it's really fun to play around with. So I definitely recommend that you guys give this deck a try. And it's really fun to play around with, and relatively budget, especially with Extravagance getting a reprint. Except for the access code, which you could change out if you wanted to. The reason I play access codes for reasons like that, where you want to just use 2 monsters on your field. But hey, you can use anything you want. So that's it for the deck, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell on there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely tell me what you think of this deck down in the comments down below. And check out the Patreon down in the description, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.